G'day everyone, my name is Tom Craig and you're listening to my podcast, The Help Side, where we speak to some of the most recognisable names in world hockey and get an insight into who they are, what they're about, and what makes them tick. Now, if you like what you hear, feel free to follow our socials at The Help Side on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. We'd absolutely love that. Welcome back to part B of The Help Side with Kieran Govers. Now, if you missed part A, go back and check it out. For this part, Kieran opens up about how he defined himself as a hockey player and what it's like to travel the world on the club circuit, getting paid to do what he loves. We also talk adversity, injuries, and retirement. You won't want to miss it. It's a goodie. Here it is, part B with Kieran Govers. Enjoy.
Govers! Oh! Can you believe that goal? That is the most brilliant goal you may ever see. The overhead from Knowles has been tapped in by Govers.
Reverse stick shot goes in.
What a finish from Govers.
Unreal on the backhand, the tomahawk shot. Govers lifted into the sky by his teammates. What a cracker that was.
It's glued to his stick, feeds it back in. Well done to White. Forward now to Govers. They queue up the Australians on the top of it. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! What a goal! What a win!
For an amateur sport, you've done incredibly well out of kind of building your brand and you're a very popular and recognisable figure in hockey. You've played hockey all over the world, but notably in Malaysia and India. Is it something that you've worked really hard for? Is that something that you kind of nutted out at the start of your career thinking, maybe I really want to kind of pursue this as an actual career? Because not many people have done it as well as you've done it.
Yeah, the only thing I've failed in my career, or not failed, but I didn't get a chance to, was play EHL hockey.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I was always on the froth in EHL, like that. If you go to EHL, whatever.com or .org, whatever, that the sound and their theme has been there for 20 odd years or 30 years probably, and that's all I wanted to play. But I was just, then again, as you said, like in the Rick era, I was just fortunate enough to play in such a dominant phase and in hockey that there was opportunities as well come about, like the HIL come about and that went on. Then you get contracts in Europe, that wherever in the world that they're available. Then stuff in Malaysia, but it's not. Growing up, it's not something I thought I might do. Like I just wanted to play EHL hockey, and that was it. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way I wanted. But in saying that, go and chase contracts and all that, you can go chase them, but then it's more they come to you by word of mouth. And it's the connections and the friendships you make throughout the hockey world that get you those contracts. It's like some Joe Blow from a club wants a striker that can flick. Oh yeah, I'm good mates with Kieran. I'll send him a text or something. Then you never know, that could be like €10,000, €20,000 that you're not going to get, and you just bang, there's an offer on the table. So. Yeah, unfortunate hockey's gone the way it has, and there's no HIL anymore. And I'm lucky enough to play in Malaysia. Like Davey Hart got me the gig basically, and I've been fortunate enough to go over there the last 3 years and play, sort of finish my career there. And I played 3 years in Holland for their boss, and great club, and love living over there. And if I could, I probably maybe would have stayed a couple more years, but it was the time in my life that hockey wasn't a priority anymore, and I came home and started a family.
Even though it's not soccer money, you're still playing for money at a club and they're paying you for your service. Does that ever change the way you play, or does it change the way you approach the game or anything?
It probably makes you play like wanting to win more, because that's just your job. Like you can do whatever you want during the week. Like as people know, Europe's so small. Like one day you can go be in Belgium, the next day you can be in France, the next day you can be like Spain, whatever. So it's got a, like, it opens up like Pandora's box basically, and you're there just purely to do your job like people do accounting or whatever, and we just play hockey on a Sunday at 2:45, and that's all you need to do. So, and Sean Moran, the Indian women's coach, just said, I don't care what you do during the week, just make sure you're fit on a Sunday, arvo. So, and maybe I took it a little out of context a few times, but yeah, and just because it's just another bro code over there. It's just like you with the Cookers, you just want to do your best, and obviously there's a little bit of pressure because you're the foreigner, you're getting paid probably good, well, depending who you are, you get paid good money, and you just want to win. You don't want to fail and let your boys down. So
yeah, okay. As a player, there's a few words that kind of spring to mind when people talk about Kieran Govers. They talk about the famous no goal call in Belgium, where you went straight to the umpire and said, "No, hit mine or Blake's foot. I can't really remember. That's not a goal." And then Belgium got the free hit out. And I guess honesty and like you wear your heart on your sleeve. You often say that. You're an honest and very passionate hockey player. Is that something that you've kind of, when you started, you were like, "That's my hockey identity. That's who I am. That's what I want to be"? Or how did that all kind of come about?
Yeah, it's sort of. I probably matured into that. I was a little cheeky brat, I guess, back in the day, and thought my shit didn't stink, to be honest, when I was growing up. But yeah, I sort of wanted to, like they say leave the shirt in a better place, but I wanted to leave my name within that shirt in a better place, the way I acted and presented myself. And that's just how I played. There's no point to cheat. You just get caught out, especially with these days with the video umpire and that sort of thing. So, I just wanted to be the dude that you bashed on the field, but had a beer off. You're honest, hardworking, loyal, and see it and you say it. So that's probably got me in trouble a few times within probably the group and stuff, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be me. If I didn't call someone up for not running around the line or something like that, and if I did, it would have bugged me, sort of thing. So it's not just me; it's just helping them be better, which helps the team in the end. So there's one goal, and that's to win. How you win, it's the different avenues everyone takes, and you want to join into the freeway, into the right path, I guess. So
yeah, okay. And as I mentioned before, you're a very popular hockey player. You got a great following on social media and all these sorts of things, and you're posting a lot of highlight videos and how-to videos, and you obviously love the game of hockey and love kind of spreading it and promoting it. And a lot of people look up to you as well. I know that for a fact. People really admire you as an athlete. How do you deal with something like that? Because it's not like, as hockey players, we're famous, but if anyone's kind of bordering along that, it would probably be you. Is that something you think about, or how do you deal with that?
Honestly, when I was coming through, I just wanted to get as many followers and I want to be up there, but it's just one of those things. Social media just grew within time I was in with the Kookaburras and stuff. So, and I sort of not sold myself, but within trying to promote yourself with the sponsors and all that, you had to in the end. Some guys don't like to do it, and I do it because I like to help other companies and whatever it is to join forces and stuff. But that's just me in a nutshell. And I'd rather put 100 videos up on how to trap a hockey ball than do air drags and jig. I just want the sport to grow and be better than it is, because I look at some great hockeys and people, it's no fault of their own that they can't trap or hit a ball. And it's but they don't get taught that. They get taught to how to air drag and undercut the ball over the goal and that sort of thing. So it does. Sometimes I get frustrated because on my videos and stuff, people, that's easy. I'm like, well, you go hit a ball in the corner 10 times and see how easy it is. It's not as easy as it looks, because it's just repetition, and you need to have the basic skill to be able to do it. And seriously, I can say that I went through the Kookaburras and some of my teammates couldn't even hit a ball. It's you play for Australia, man. You learn how to hit a ball. But that's just it, because they weren't taught when they were younger. They had other skills that they excelled in, and they were able to sort of hide. But then at the top level, you can't hide anywhere, as you know. And that's sort of my passion, because like I went to India last year with POS, or last year, or whenever it was. And that's what I did with the Indian strikers. Like, taught them how to hit, trap, like on the move, deflect, and it's like, Jesus, like, you're so bloody good, but just do this like properly, like. So, and that's how I sort of that's why I'm back in the game, sort of coaching, still hobbling around playing, because I want to better people, and that's how I'll do it. If I do it via social media, then I try and react and reply to as much as I can, but sometimes you do get overwhelmed. So
yeah, coaching is definitely a big part of you. I know you had Govers coaching for a while and still do, or
not so much anymore, because the other stuff in my life's taken over. But the opportunity comes, I'll go coach other places and stuff. I've had a few in the pipeline, which has obviously fallen through with COVID, like with some national teams and stuff. So there's promise out there, but see where it goes, I guess. But priorities, family and work life now. So
yeah, okay. I want to jump back to 2014 because that was an unbelievable tournament. I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about that team, what made it so good, and I want to talk about again one of the most famous goals, I'd say, probably played highlight on YouTube against GB. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yep. Yeah, in the round game, I think it was. About the goal, it was sort of because I can't remember who we were playing, maybe Spain the game before, and I got absolutely roasted in the team. Like, one thing in a team meeting, if you want a piece of advice, you do not want to be in a clip. That's one thing. Because I tell you, like, there'll be the clips about this, but people look to see whether they're in the clip first. And the worst thing was, like, I was prime time centre of this clip, and I think it was Rob smashed the ball through the 30, 40 metres out, and it went past the far post, and I was already walking off for half time because there was only a couple seconds left. And I got ripped a new one by Rick in the team meeting. You keep playing until that whistle went, blah, blah. I was like, because I was speaking to Henry Weir a couple of weeks ago about it as well, and that, so GT and I were called like Bash Brothers, B1, B2, and like sort of we normally played sort of majority of our hockey together, like on the pitch. And I remember, like, I didn't really see Knowlesy have the ball, and someone was pushing GT, so I was like, I'm gonna go and hit this guy too. So then I was walking up, and all of a sudden I just see Knowlesy like finish his overhead like technique, and I was like, oh no. And I'm just hightailed back, and like lucky Henry could sort of come with me and didn't follow me back. And just tapped it in between in between my hands or something, and it went in the goal. And I went over and jumped on Devo. So that's how it sort of panned out, because I wanted to go hit one of those GB plays. So then then it turned out into like a goal that's been played over YouTube over and over again.
So good. One of the I know when I came in, I was told that you were told to stop gymming. You had to stop lifting because you were lifting some pretty crazy weights. And I know GT was something similar. Who lifted more out of you two, and how much? What are we talking here? Because you guys are pretty big fellas. When you talk about the Bash Brothers, was that off the field as well, or what's?
I can't swing a punch the same. I can cop one, but like growing up, like I first started with T-dubs when we came through NSWIS at Tristan White. Just went to URAC a fair bit together, then moved to Perth, and got with GT, and we were just smashing it. Then I started because I put on like 8 kilos or something over the off season. That's when I got my sleeve tattoo, and like I thought I was like red hot here. And then I tried to run, and I just got stress fractures within like 4 weeks because I was too top heavy. And I think GT in his prime, he would have got me easy. But I think in Perth I held it for a while, like 130 kilos 1 RM. But then it sort of shot me in the foot. I tried to do that again the other year and tore the peck off me. So, we were just like, there's always a saying like when we're getting marked, if it's not you, it's GT. If not GT, like, sort of thing. So it's sort of like you're already in the head already. That was a good thing, and yeah, because then you had to sort of back Jamie up as well, because he was like a little gnome compared to some of the other dudes. So he just ran between their legs. So, but
so that was how you played physical. You and G would try and beat up defenders, really.
Yeah, just muscle them out, because like before the video ref, like the Germans would they stand behind you and put their stick like around you and like bring you in, like just like bear hug you with their stick. You can't go anywhere, and trying to talk to umpires talking to no one. So I was sort of but then ASICS brought out these I think before the Typhoons there was like some plastic cleats. I think they were the golds or whatever. And they hurt when they stood on their foot, so it's like if they did that, I just stamped on their foot and just ran away. So I was sort of a little bit of a prick, to be honest, to be marked. But that's how I got in the game. That's how you get the ball. You don't want to be contesting a ball. You sort of want to muscle off and bump him out and get a bit of distance. So it's sort of So that's how we sort of played our game. You sort of try to intimidate the other team. Then you're 1-0 already, I guess. So. Yeah,
and you were pretty intimidating, I reckon. In 2014, your team was red hot. Did you always feel good going into that tournament?
Yeah. So it's sort of everything was just clicking, preparation was good. There was a little bit of a hiccup with Moose. I think he did his MCL, maybe 6 weeks out, and there was iffy whether he was going to go, but he come good. Played New Zealand in Perth, all went well. Everyone sort of ticked boxes and got through that. Then, unfortunate when we finally went to London, we played GB in a pracky match in Bisham Abbey, and Simo went for a tackle or whatever, free hit against him. Then he was sort of like what happened to me in 2012, sort of just jogging back, not didn't think anything of it. And I think it was Baz Middleton, just whang, and just smacked the ball and straight into Simo's foot, broke his foot. And that was maybe 2 weeks before the tournament. Then, so he was out. Then, so we took Devo and Goatsy as reserves, so they missed out. But I can't tell you who came in first, because I can't remember. Then, I think it was 3 days before we played, or 5 days before our first game. We played Germany in a pracky match, just half a game. Then Rusty just went to chink a ball up the sideline, bang, popped his scarf. So he was gone. So obviously they're cousins. So yeah, they were out. So sort of pretty devastating for them. Then obviously Devo and Goatsy come in. So sort of it's probably lucky that we were so tight as a unit that sort of nothing really changed. Simo and Rusty did they were just top blokes with how it all panned out and what they went through. So Rusty and Simo stayed around Europe and stuff. Then obviously caught us up on the last night after the final. But yeah, everything just clicked. I did, through the tournament, I didn't feel that we were going to lose the game. That's how much we were in sync, and basic skills and everything was just coming off. Whatever we wanted to do was just like a tee. So I still remember I was just about to sub on when Jay scored the tomahawk in the final, and I was like, whatever. You know how when someone scores, oh man, now we need to work hard to get back. But it's just the vibe around, whatever, they scored, so what? There's 16,000, 17,000 people screaming, the roof's nearly tearing off the soccer stadium, so whatever. Yeah, so that's probably the mentality we had. We knew we were probably going to have him anyway, but just how we played. And I think there was every game except the final we scored in the first 5 minutes. So because the way we played, the results and the stats showed that we'll have 2 or 3 shots within 5 minutes or a corner. So we had to, if we capitalise on that, then that means the train's rolling and you ain't stopping us. So
yeah. And there's great footage. I think it was in the final of you scoring a goal. I think the first goal was that.
Second, Big Dog scored a flick.
Yep.
Yeah. Then I scored about 10 to go in the first half, which So they scored, then we ran down maybe 5 minutes later and Big Dogs scored, and that sort of, then they just dropped from there. Then I just pounced on a loose ball, then hit it in, and that's sort of
smoked it.
Yeah, going into half time. Yeah, so that was sort of another thing. Like a little long corner. I think Weddy took it, passed it to Moose. GT missed it and just popped there. So I just smashed it. So it went in the goal, luckily. So then we just rolled on from there half time, and we just came out and went bang, like Big Dogs flicking quick, deceptive, and we just went bang from there. So.
And there was after you scored that goal, there was footage of you, I think, kissing your bicep. Is that something that you'd mind sharing? Why do you do that after you score?
Yeah, so that was sort of, I don't know, when I did it in Olympics when I scored the goal against Germany, but then I started just doing it after every goal I scored, because sort of like I've got, my 2 cousins were murdered when I was younger in New Zealand, so sort of I got their tombstone tattooed on my arm with some rosebuds and stuff, so it sort of hits home that it can be all over tomorrow, and I'm not doing it just for my family. I'm doing it for the broader of my family, I guess. And yeah, as you say, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I didn't get to spend much time with them, so I just sort of everything I sort of did was for them, and not only for them but for my family as well. So they sort of know that when I do something like cool or good, like it's always going to be remembered through family wise. So and that's just how it was. I add on to it after a loss or whatever within the family. So it's sort of it's pretty special with all the roses and the writing on my bicep.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's time for the Hero of Hockey segment, and we are quietly stoked about how much response we've been receiving. If you haven't nominated someone, it's easy. Check out our socials for how to do it, and both you and your nominee are up for a sweet prize courtesy of our great friends over at Voodoo Hockey, who, I might add, are absolute legends. Now, today's Hero of Hockey is Seb Foster. Thank you very much, Harry, for the nomination. Harry writes, Seb is all about hockey. He's always out watching all the senior teams playing on the day before the game he's involved with. He coaches, he umpires, he plays in 3 different teams himself, not to mention the countless hours he spends helping out around the club. Seb is always there if Harry ever needs tips, and he's always happy to help in developing Harry's game. He's a very deserving member of recognition for all the volunteering and help he provides around the club that goes unnoticed. We agree, Harry. Seb, thanks for all you do, mate. You're this week's Hero of Hockey, and you're in the draw to win a Voodoo prize pack worth up to 600 Aussie dollars. Good luck. We're going to move on to injuries, because after the 2000, you've had a fair run of injuries, especially before that with your hip surgeries and all that. But after 2014 was a pretty tough period for you with your hamstrings. And I remember watching. We were all kind of warming up, I think, before an inter-squad game in 2016, and you had just, I don't know what rehab it was, I don't know how many times, but it was the last kind of set, and kind of to put you to a T, I guess. It was an extra. You didn't have to do that extra set of running, but I think just that's who you are. You wanted to do extra, you wanted to do more, and did you have me? And I think our S&C coach, Brendan Appleby, took it very hard. But I think all the boys just before the game, that was so deflated. That was one of the most deflating moments in my career, for sure. Just the pain. But do you mind talking about 2015, 16 and the injuries? Yeah, so after when we finished commies late August or whenever it was, I went under for my 3rd hip operation. Then come back all good from that. Then in 15... Yeah, I just had like a few niggles here and there, and then playing club hockey, I basically ran into the wall at Melville. I was just chasing an overhead, like flat stick, and went to cross it. Then I sort of did something with my shoulder, so I did my AC joint in my shoulder, so
So 15 was I maybe played 5 games, I reckon. To be honest, I can't remember what tour I went or whatever I did. I went to World League at the end. So I did it at finals, just before finals in Perth. Got through World League. I was having a local every game. Then got operated on in the December. Then came back in January. Sort of the other thing about it was we had decided, I had a meeting with Poss and Gooders, that I wouldn't go to Hockey India League just to give the body a rest, the hip, the hammies, and obviously I would have been fine to go play with my shoulder because it would have been healed by then, but just to get me to the Rio sort of tournament, that's what we decided. So that was probably another hard thing as well, taking a 50 grand hit in the pocket, not being able to go. But yeah, man, it's sort of, I'm just trying to think how it started. That's right, it was, I didn't go to HIL, so then there was myself, TJ, and maybe another.
And Belty, actually. We were all there, I think.
Over in UWA. Yeah, we're doing 175s.
Running laps.
Yeah, and then we're like, right, last one, we're gonna hit turbos now. And then within 30 meters, I reckon, just pop. Yeah, then you just it's not that bad, but then you're like, oh, it's done again. So it's sort of like that was sort of the start of the downward spiral of 2016, to be honest. Because sort of I knew then it put you back, especially with mine, it would have been, I think it could have been like my 12th or 11th or whatever it was back then. Then they were always cautious with my hammies. So then if it was a grade 1, 3 weeks, they'd go 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So then you bite into the time that you need for the preparation. So sort of we didn't push the rehab, but we gradually went. But it's sort of like it wasn't getting any better. Then I did it. Then we're doing rehab. Then I did it. So then I was doing some rehab and running along the sideline. I'm like, BA and Mickey, it's super tight. So I'll go to the gym and we'll do some gym. But no worries. So I tore it on a 1 plate hammy curl. So then rehabbed it, then I tore it again playing club hockey. I got back playing club hockey, tore it again. Then I tore it again doing something. Then the 5th one was that one, doing before the inter-squad. That was my final set before I was going back to training. So yeah, I think it was just mentally draining. Then you just hit a point, you're like, I think I just, But I can still remember it was down, not the scoreboard end near the offices, and I just I went ballistic. I just swore my head off. A few boys ran up to me, and all I saw was BA fling the bloody car through the air. He stormed up the thing, disappointed. I just went in the change rooms. Then that was sort of Champions Trophy sort of selection gone. So that was sort of probably my last, I don't know, fight for a selection for a spot, because I know that I basically in the end I was relying off what I had done previously. 14, I didn't do much. 15 because I was injured. Then we came to a decision that I'd go to Melbourne and live with a top sports doctor down there called Peter Bruckner. So I was rehabbing needles, I was doing everything. I was doing something once a day. I was doing when I first got there, I had an epidural in my back, so I had to lay flat for 3 days to just unblock the nervous system or whatever and all that sort of stuff does. Got back, so then we knew we were pushing it. So that was my 5th hammy tear, so we were pushing it. So I had to cram probably 7 weeks into 4 weeks into rehab. Feeling good, ticked every box that come at me, missed Champions Trophy selection, which is probably kicking the guts because I knew that now I've got to rely on my past. come back, had to do fitness testing, drag flicking, train, tick, done whatever I needed to do. Then righto, it's like, shit, yeah, I'm gonna make it here. Like, so because I was probably 50-50 when I was in Melbourne, righto, like, I don't know how they're going to swing, but then I got back to Perth and sort of like 60, 70, 30, like I'm a shoo-in here. Like, if they picked the team, I think it was the 26th of June, I'm pretty sure, 26th, 27th of June, I still remember. Then, righto, from that date, it's still 3 weeks or whatever it was until give myself little bit of extra time. And then, obviously, I opted not to have a phone call, and I just received the email and didn't go my way. And I was just like, oh man, I still remember the day I woke up, like I was just shaking. I couldn't believe it. Like my name's not there. But sort of probably rewinding just before the selection, I messaged Blake and said, yeah, if there's a Govers name, if there's one Govers name, I hope it's yours, because I sort of knew we'll fight for a spot together, because he was striker, I was striker, he's flicker, whatever. So I knew that if it come down to it, it'd probably come down to probably two Govers, one spot basically. And however it panned out, didn't go my way. And I went on a bender for about 3-4 days. So Tyler and that sort of joined me for a little bit. And like seriously, like to this day, you can ask Mitz. He was at work, like, so I just had all the boys over, had a barbie and that. I was standing there cooking the barbie. Then I'm like I grabbed my hammy. And I was like, boys, I think I've done my hammy. Like cooking a barbecue. Then they're like, no, don't be stupid. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. I'm like, I think I've done my hammy. And because I don't know how to do all the tests and all that by then. I'm like, but I've done my hammy. And it's like, no, they haven't. And I'm like, so then I'm like, oh, I haven't. Right. So then I went back training. So I trained the next. So you had a couple of days off, whatever it was with selections. And went back training. And I'm like, super tired, but no, this is going all right. And then I went to do I received the ball down the line and went to chip and chase the horse to go get it, and just went ping, like 6 hammies in 3 weeks, or like 4 weeks or whatever it was. And I just got my stick and I smashed it against the goal on the sideline, and that sort of like summed up Rio in a nutshell, I reckon, because when I had my non-selection meeting, they asked whether I wanted to be a reserve or not. It was sort of like, I'm not going to another one. Like, this was, go to this one, I'm kaput. So sort of like, no, I don't want to. Like, but then they said, just sleep on it, or like give it a couple of days and stuff. I said, okay, whatever. But highly likely, just give it to someone that's going to go to the next one and experience what it was. Lucky enough you were able to get one of the spots. And it's sort of like, I don't need to go to Rio just to say I went to another Olympic village or whatever it is. So sort of, that's not what I wanted to do. So sort of, that's sort of how it was. Going back into it, do I accept it? Do I agree with it? No, I don't. I had a feeling that might come up in the interview, but the way I look at it is that I was never going to win the team a gold medal. My experience might have helped within situations within a game or anything, but would I have been fit enough? Personally, if I was able to go that extra three weeks to day dot of the first game, probably, but the lead up wasn't ideal. But the thing was, because I ticked every box I had to tick, so I'm like, not a shoo-in, but like I'm good here, because it was sort of another kick in the guts, because I was vice captain of the team, and you're not safe at any means, but you're sort of like, righto, what can, like, you do a whole build-up of a whole year. So Knowles, he was captain, myself and Moose was vice, and then we had a couple of other leadership sort of good guys. But then it's sort of like, you go from vice captain in a team in December to not even making the top 16 in whatever, like in June. You're like, what went wrong? How pear-shaped did it go? Like, they can't just say, yeah, your injuries. Like, I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's just like in the end, like, I hate, hate's a big word. So like, but I disliked the coaching staff or the staff in general of like how it all went down, because it wasn't false hope. It was maybe, I thought it might have been like false promises, because in the end they just said, yeah, you're not good enough. It's like, oh, what do you mean I'm not good enough? Like, I've done like whatever I needed to do. It's sort of like, I was like, am I like really listening to this? And sort of like, I sort of dwelled on it. Like, you got to accept it in the end, because that's the way they want to go with the team, and that's what they think they're going to win the gold. So it's like, at the time, it's, yeah, you think it's bullshit, but then I sort of had my own time and went home for a little bit, then had to go see a psych because I wasn't really coping. And she like from a lady from NSWIS, and her biggest things were that just to look at that other people might have thought you were the best 16, but the people that mattered didn't think you were good enough, or didn't put you in the team. So sort of you had to accept it, even though you didn't think it was the right choice. Yeah, so be it, whatever happened. Then you got to accept it. You got to have your time to grieve, and you got to move on, and you got to then I'm putting in a little one. You got to prove wrong. So that's sort of how I sort of dealt with it. Obviously, then I flew back to Perth and decided with Poss and Gooders that it was probably the right time for myself to escape the environment within Perth and go mentally recharge, and whatever happens in the near future. So yeah, I came to Perth, moved all my stuff back to New South, drove my ute home, then I took off to Europe. So that's probably the blessing in disguise, I think, because I was out of everything. I didn't watch. I think I made her watch maybe 20 minutes of the whole Olympics of the boys. Do I say bittersweet? Yes and no, because like I thought I should have been there, and but then it's like you feel bad because the boys went so bad and they're your best mates, and you know what they can do, and whatever was dished out in the field is not it's not what they can do. So it was pretty disappointing in that aspect for the boys. Then I was lucky enough to come back. Poss went his own way, and then Gooders took over, and I came back in December, I think it was, for the Festival of Hockey Summer in Melbourne. And that's if I didn't go to Europe, it would have been pretty tough to move on from that, but clear head, clear space, came back and felt the love for it again.
And you spent probably a year. You spent a bit of time away. Why did you come back? Why did you decide? Because that 2 years prior to that was like I would say that it sounds like it's some of the toughest of your career, like without a doubt.
The 16,
the hardest years.
Yeah, that was career. It was crap, to be honest. Like, because you work so hard. Because I just had my mindset, right, I'm going to get revenge in Rio on these bastards, basically, and for that to be taken away, probably under the circumstances it did. Like, because I still don't understand from vice captain to completely out. It's not that I was playing bad. It might have been injuries or whatever, but then it comes back to I ticked every box I needed to do, and whatever happened. But I've mended some friendships within that time, and so be it. It's history now, and I'm a bigger bloke for it, and I respect what happened, and that's it. And probably coming back, I had unfinished business, to be honest. Like, sort of like I came back got reselected in end of 16. Then Batchy come on and basically like dropped 7 of us, and I was one of them, unfortunately, and just said, yeah, he's going his own way and bringing youth and whatever he wants to bring in. So I was sort of like, Jesus, what is happening? Like, I still couldn't believe it. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, so, but yeah, it is what it is. And then I had that sort of hiatus. Like, went to Europe, finished the season over there, and then came back and had a sort of a year just chill, like a sort of a gap year, doing nothing, just playing hockey here at Southo, and went to New South for the last AHL and stuff like that, and that's what it is, and then lucky enough got recalled for a little short stint in 2018 or whatever it was. Can't even remember it. So.
Why did you ever think about not coming back in 18?
No, I always wanted it because I hadn't. They say you go out on your own terms, which some people do, some people don't. Like it didn't bother me whatever way I went out, but because I still thought I was good enough, and I was still playing some, like, to be honest, some half decent hockey. Body was still in good shape because, yeah, obviously over in Perth you train a lot more than what you do when you're interstate or overseas or whatever. So that probably gap year gave me another year at the back end. Then probably, coming back into it, like obviously Batchy, they gave me another lifeline to come back in. But then it's just, it was a little bit different. It's sort of new sort of ways, I guess, like from the traditional way I knew back in from when I first debuted to when Batchy dropped me. Sort of like you guys had the 17 and whole of 18 basically to do what you did, and it's one of those things you can't play catch up in 2 years. I tried my best, but at the end of the day, the things that were going to be asked of me, I couldn't commit to. Like Batchy asked me, I think 4 times to move back to Perth. I couldn't. I had my family here, and my wife's got her kids, and it was just logistically it was a nightmare. Like I tried to bring them over for like a VAA and stuff like that, but then it's like you're too distracted to sort them out, and then come to like. But then in the end, obviously you're not training at that high level that you are, and I couldn't get to Sydney all the time, and to be honest, it was pretty disappointing because I thought I could keep going, but Batchy was really good. Like I went to Darwin, played in 18, and I was okay. Not what I could have shown, and probably the downside is like people think of what Govers did in his past. Like obviously things change. You get older and that sort of thing. So, he was open and honest and just said that I'm not in his future plans. It's if I want to wait until the squad comes out or announce my retirement after, or like obviously this was after Darwin. And obviously I accepted that, and I majorly respect that he gave me the opportunity to do that because you do finish on your own terms, but it's from a decision by the coach, and the biggest thing, like I hold high in regard is that I got another opportunity. Like I was just, you're probably asking like how many emails did I send, how many texts did I send him? Like it's probably like, just how can I block this dude's number? But then we obviously had our disagreements throughout that period. I was away because I was like, what do you mean I'm not in your squad? Like you said, I'll be up for selection and stuff like that. But looking back at it now, there's no way I could have went another 2 years from 18 to 20. Like as I said, in that little bubble, you think you're young, you're invincible, and you can do whatever you want. But the way you the way you boys are required to train, like even now, it's probably the same or maybe a little bit more to what we trained our asses off back in the day, but like there's only a certain period of time that you can do it for, and obviously myself with the issues I've had, looking back at it now, it's sort of like, yeah, you wish you played 120, 50 more games or whatever, but you make the most of you're in the now. And yeah, I was more than happy to retire when I did. And that's when I sent that message in the group, and sort of that was my way out. You gotta make your caps count. You don't count your caps. So probably from the outside, because people are like, oh, this dude's that done. I've never heard of this dude. Where's this guy come from? And because people think, oh, they're just willy nilly chucking shirts out wherever, but you soon get realised once you're in the group, you're chucked in and you sink or swim basically, just like in everything. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I just wish boys would take that on board, and hopefully they do, because through injury, I reckon I missed. If I counted them, I reckon I missed nearly 150 games. But yeah, that puts me up to 250 player. But it doesn't matter. Like, I've excelled in 126 games, and I hold my head high, and it doesn't matter how many. Like, all that counts is you make shit at the end of it, and who you still talk to, and like, it's not only within Australia, around the world, and you look at your trophy cabinet, to be honest, and that's it. So.
It's a bloody good answer. I remember when that text came through, it was definitely the end of the era. I reckon there are a lot of guys who were pretty saddened by it, I reckon. And as I said, like, when I came in, you were the one of the top dogs, and as you say, vice captain, and really kind of demonstrated how to train and how to be a Kookaburra. I really mean that, and I reckon all guys, especially my era coming through, saw that. And that was definitely a sad day when you sent through that text. Anyway, I'm running out of time, and I know that you gotta get outside and coach the boys. But I got one more question for you, and then we're going to go into some quick questions that I do, just like best you've played against and with, and that sort of thing. But before we get onto that, you've played a lot of places all over the world. You're a passionate Southo hockey man. I remember probably one of the best performances anyone's ever played against me was in a semi-final at Olympic Park, when I think you scored 4 goals. That one hurt. But seeing hockey all over the world, what's it got to take in Australia and Sydney to kind of get hockey up to the level that it is in Europe, in your opinion?
Probably the mentality of you need to earn it, like, and you need to be helpful, like, and so the biggest thing about me taking over this role at Southo is I'm here to develop. Like, we've lost a lot of experienced players, and I just said to the club, we're going to take a hit. Like, if we don't make grand final or top 3 or top 4, whatever, so be it. But we need to promote the juniors and stuff, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing down Illawarra as well. We've taken a hit, and it's just comes in cycles. Like, you might lose players, there might be a gap of 5 years or whatever, but you need to, within that 5 years, you need to promote the junior guys. And obviously there's not much money in hockey, so sort of what we can do to sustain hockey is a big thing, because overseas it's like they don't fight against AFL, footy, soccer, like cricket, and like in Holland, like it's soccer then hockey. Then they're sponsored by banks and all that. But I think it's not a war against each state. It's like, how can we combine and make Australia great? Not just, we're going to smash these guys, Like, you want, like, when you play like Open New South Wales, you want to smash them, but then it's like you want to promote what's going to be the next things. So that's probably coming back to what Hockey Australia did with Tonks, and that just getting you guys out involved with the communities and that sort of thing. And the biggest thing is that we tried to push when we were playing, like we want to go play in country areas. Like, it brings in money for them, for us. we showcase on a stage within a little community and stuff. So then people then know, I haven't watched hockey before, I might go watch this and that sort of thing. So that's sort of the future is your crop coming through. So if you don't worry about them, then you're already 5 years behind the 8 ball. So that's sort of my big thing. That's why I'm massive on just trapping and passing a hockey ball. Like if you can't do that, you can't play hockey. As Rick said, if you could train on one hockey ball, you would, but you can't. No one's perfect.
I remember you coached us in under 15s. I think I was 13 at the time.
Yeah.
I remember a classic story is my folks. I hope they hear this. My folks weren't there for the tournament, and I didn't have anyone. Little old me didn't have anyone to take a photo with me with the trophy on the last night, and you did. And I remember looking up to you then, and I know a lot of kids have done that along the way. So well done on being a great servant of the game. It's bloody awesome. We need more like you. Couple quick questions just while we wrap up and you get those hammies warmed up for the session. First one, who's the best player you've ever played with?
I'll go two. I'll have to go two. Has to be Knowlesy and Jamie, for sure. Yeah, they're me roomies as well. Yeah. The GT's me roomie as well, but he stole some goals off me.
Yeah.
Jamie just because I looked up to him, and Knowlesy just the way he just is, like mentor, like even though he's one of my best mates, like you still go to him for advice and everything. So yeah, just he puts team before anything. So yeah, and how he deals with his family, the same as Jimbo, like how they balance family out. Yeah, I really look up to those guys as well.
Cool. Best player you've ever played against?
Probably first Roy Halk, I reckon. Yeah, they're pretty silky. Yeah, they're a pain in the ass to play against, to be honest. I told him the other day as well.
Just too smooth.
Yeah, just too good. Yeah.
Favourite hockey memory?
Probably looking up at my family when I was debuting.
Yeah, it's good. Where was that?
Hobart.
In Hobart, and they're up there in the crowd.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah, it was special. But his dad doesn't get around that much, so he'd rather just watch it on Fox and stuff. So yeah, that and he was at World Cup as well. Mum and dad just try and split tournaments if they can. Because, as you know, it's just pretty hexy to get to.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good memory. Last one. You've had to deal with a lot of adversity in your time. Like I can imagine the places your mind would go to when you're just coming back and doing an injury and doing an injury and doing an injury. You got any advice for anyone who's got a lot of adversity in their career and needs to kind of look through it or see the positives or overcome that adversity?
Yeah, it's bound to happen. Like I think even if you look at Eddie, I think he's had maybe one injury in his whole career. Like he's just like invincible, basically. Touch wood. Sorry, Ed. But yeah, you just got to be open to that. It can happen at any time. Take your time to accept it and grieve, because that's probably the biggest thing. Like, because people just like as soon as it happens, right? What can I do to fix it? Blah blah blah. But you need to if something's happened to you, it's probably for a reason, and it's probably trying to feed you information that something's not right or anything. So you just listen to your body, listen to people you trust, put yourself around people you trust. Be honest. Like if you don't like what someone's saying, just say it. Like, yeah, I don't know if that's right for me or something like that. Don't go there's a lot of people that go internal. Like it's just natural. So that's why it's good to stick around people you trust and that know you, because if you're acting weird or abnormal, then they can sort of do something to help you. And just keep sticking at it, and set yourself goals. So just little goals at the start, tick them off. You're always going to have failures, so don't make them too big. That's what I learned probably the hard way as well, setting massive goals and not worrying about what's in between. But other than that, just stay focused. Yeah, you're doing something you love and for a reason. Yeah, it's not just the final outcome. You make friendships throughout Australia, the world, wherever, and it sort of grows you into a better person. Like without hockey, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and that's just it. So yeah, you can talk heaps about it, but just stay in you and seek advice, I guess. So yeah, no one's too scary to talk to.
It's brilliant. Thanks, man.
No, mate.
That'll do
Pleasure.
it. Get out there.
Pleasure.
That's it for another episode of The Help Side. Special thanks to my production team of David Moore and Tim Collier, plus countless others working behind the scenes to get this to you. You're the real MVPs. Again, if you're liking the show, please like, subscribe, you know the drill, and get in touch with us via our socials. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, that's all, folks. See you next week.